On Sunday, the game comes alive. Pro football, the game for the ear and the eye. A 2.5-hour carnival of color, sound, and action. The sport is more than spectacle. It is the game for all seasons. From the strength-sapping heat of early summer through a winter's night chill, pro football is played. It is our new national pastime, a glorious game.
No matter where you're headed.
Alright, got stymied by the ad, but that's okay. Got a little taste from the good people at NFL Films. Rest in peace, Ed Sable, Steve Sable. The biggest legends in the history of pro football are those guys, the Sables. Alright, we're getting ready for 1971. You guys just played a game. It was crazy. All right. I'm going to leave the condition up there. All right. Welcome to the 1971 preview. Not going to show you too much of this ROM just yet. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at all the teams real quick, and I'm just going to kind of just have my take on if they're a good team or what the deal is. I think we'll do it in reverse order of standings from last year. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Gotta get some water. Alright. First up, let's take a look at Washington. Now, this year, Washington has kind of a unique thing. They have a combination of players and coaches that are difficult to scheme against. Joe Collier, assistant coach. Marlon Briscoe, dual threat, quarterback, skill position guy. And Spider Lockhart, X Factor, brings a lot to the party. Now, Washington was last place last year. They were the people's champ last year. But they had the worst record because they drafted a bunch of Hollywood guys that were fun name guys, but maybe not the best dudes that were available at the time they were drafted. Let's see how they did this year. All right, first of all, good start. They got Fran Tarkenton. This was like the fifth pick. Now he's been going 1-2, 1-2-3 for pretty much as long as we can remember. He's been a top pick in TAD. He has not really. He's got about the same attributes as he's had. So This was a good steal right there. Got the old ball coach backing him up. Jess Phillips. Preston Pearson coming off a big season. Nice depth at running back. Big Clem. That's nice. That's a lot more speed than you could typically see here in Tecmo After Dark. 63 is pretty elite for Tecmo After Dark. Pretty good second receiver there. This guy's a special. This guy brings kick returning to the party. He's still pretty decent at that. That guy's a bum. It's a Witcher, a couple tight ends. Elite center alert. Left guard. I mean, look at, you can already tell this team is way better than. I'm gonna make that on my list. He's supposed to have punting ability. This is the other thing. We're gonna find all the mistakes, for which, for some reason, there are several. Not really sure. It's always a struggle with the sheet. But yeah, I did not look at Washington's punter stats, so I gotta get my little chart up here. I don't want to miss these. Yeah, I don't know how Pete. That seems like one of the hardest parts of the sheet is getting the special teams together. Let's check out this D. A couple big timers on the D line. Biggs has had some moments in Tad. Brazina was a guy that I think kind of slipped a little bit. This guy's just solid. That guy's an impact player, despite just not being excellent at anything. Stallings is still a guy. McCray, veteran at this point. Leroy's solid. Spider's a threat. He brings a lot to the party. He's an X factor. He's a Brian Dawkins type. It's going to be causing problems for other teams. And Jim Kearney is a big time strong safety. So, I mean, Ludios, I think he's turned it around. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened last year, aside from the fact he had some tough losses in addition to making a bunch of stretches. I'm going to say that this is a team that could be a factor. My official take, intriguing. We've got to put this somewhere if you can actually see it. Oh, I know what to do here. Oh my god, my screen just went blank. Why does this keep happening? We got to do the background opacity factor. There we go. Alright, I'm going to say this is a intriguing team, which basically means I think this team could make some noise. Don't really think it's a contender for the Tad Bowl, but I think this team could make some noise, could win some big games. I mean, Ludio had bad luck and had a bad team last year. I think he's going to make a turnaround. We'll see. Houston, Beef Juice. Beef Juice had a couple of wins with Houston last year and a tie, so he did not have the worst record. Let's see what he's got for 1971. Craig Borton, still pretty good. Of course, he was unseated by Roger Staubach. They were splitting duties to start the year. They finally went with Roger Staubach. That proved to be a good call. Pete Lisk is a solid QB. This is the guy you want as your backup right here. He might get a lot of PT for this team, if Beef Juice remembers to check his conditions. John Riggins is welcome to Tad. We're going to be hearing a lot from this guy over the years. Beast. Rookie year, pretty solid. Could be a pretty big factor for Houston here. And Norm Boulay just real solid. Got Fran Lynch. This receiving core is led by Haven Moses. Boyd Dowler was a big part of the draft. Ditka still got a little juice in the tank. He kind of rejuvenates a little bit for 1971. Bruce Coslett. Let's take a look at everybody. Let's just take a look at everybody. This is one more chance to just make sure everybody's ready to go. Bobby Walden, man. Beef Juice had some memorable moments in the draft. I think Bobby Walden was my favorite. Big Buck Buchanan. Billy Newsome is back. This time in the middle. Nose tackle. Got some impact players here in the front seven. Elvin Bethea. Frank Nunley's been solid over the years. We got Darty Marty. D'Artagnan Martin is in the mix. Sandy Durka. I feel like at one point Beef Juice just started picking guys with cool names. But Ken Houston was the #1 overall pick in TAD. He was awesome for Buffalo last year, and he's a little bit better this year. He's got one more ticket interceptions, so get some. All right, Houston. It's Beef Juice, so we're not get too intrigued by this squad. My take is Houston will be a participant in TAD in 1971. That being said, I kind of like the team. I feel like he had a pretty solid draft. He might get some vibes from contributing to some of the more memorable moments in the TAD draft. All right, next up, a team that has been doing well in TAD, but in 1970 struggled. Went a little bit off kilter. Yeah, maybe they'll get the Burning Mort vibes too. Who knows? What up, Sammy Smith? But Young Tell went back to his roots. He went with Bobby Douglas. This is a clear indication right away when he took him in the 3rd round that we are going to stick to the strat. We're going to run the ball and play defense. Now, of course, there was a little bit of an issue with the Raiders because they had to fire their coach mid draft. So Al Davis is kind of trying to put a stamp on things. Norm Snead is a really good backup, to say the least. So he maybe the passing is not 100% not going to happen, because that's pretty good. Wayne Patrick, this is the most physical guy in TAD right here. This fullback, Wayne Patrick, who could see a major role with this team. Clint Jones, he's going to get some carries. Youngtail's going to go with the hot hand probably here. Ron Shanklin is back. Kind of just got no love last year, but he's still very good. Billy Masters, the baiter. This guy counts as a half dick. And he's got more Stroud finally in a starting role in real life. And could be a factor this year. He's got good tight ends, that's for sure. Windsor. Those guys could get in the mix. Line is just so. Return game is great. And once again, the kickers are all screwed up. What happened to the kickers? They were looking good. I think Pete changed something. So we got a lot to look at here. We got to figure out what went wrong with that stuff, because they were good in the first go around. Thought he fixed it. And defense, front 7 is very mid, but Bass, solid corner. Ellis, big time corner. I mean, this is ridiculous. This secondary is ridiculous. Dick Anderson, this was his first pick. These guys are loaded. Loaded on with the secondary. I think Young Tell will probably have a resurgence. I mean, despite having no passing game, I think the Raiders are good. I think the Raiders are good on paper. I'm going to say this is an intriguing team. Not really a contender, but very intriguing. I can see them. I would expect them to have more wins than losses, is what basically this means right here. I'm very intrigued by the Raiders. I think a return to form for Young Tell. All right, who else was not great last year? Detroit, Laszlo. In his 2.5 year with Taddy. Missed the first 4 games of 1969. Stepped in for Sherm. Look at that helmet. What up, T-Bone? First pick. Second pick overall. Roger, the Dodger. This is the best quarterback we've seen in TAD so far. Combination of speed and passing ability. This has not occurred yet. There has been nobody this good. Roger Staubach was on fire when he took over. For the Cowboys, led him all the way to the Super Bowl championship. He is the man, and he's in charge here in Detroit. Domrez, solid backup. Donnie Anderson, pretty solid. Bankston's good fullback. Some of these guys got some pretty shaky ball control, but I think he's going to be throwing. He's got a great target here, Otis Taylor, to get involved with. Gene Washington, not as good as he has been. Chuck Hughes, questionable constitution. Good luck the rest of the way to him. Hubie Bryant, Raymond Chester. Pretty good tight end. Let's take a look. We got Jake Tubb. Offensive line doesn't appear to be a major focus, but he's got good tackles. Horst Mullman. All right, Jerry Rush can provide, and Jethro Pugh. Elite nose tackle alert. Let's see what else the defense got. Players on the front line here. Willie Lanier is back. He had a monster season for the Lions in 1969. He's back with a vengeance. Jim Houston's still quite good. We got a secondary that's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. That's a good team. All right, so Laszlo, obviously he's still got a lot to prove in Tad. That being said, Roger Staubach, I'm going to say my take is playoffs. I'm not fully intrigued by the Lions. Until Laszlo has a good season in Tad, I cannot expect too much out of him. But I would say that the Lions do appear poised to make a run at the playoffs. They certainly have all the pieces. And Laszlo maybe he could be buoyed by his Commissioner's Cup run in 1970. So we'll see what happens with the Lions. But Laszlo's still just getting his feet wet in Tad. See what he can do. He's got a good team. That's for sure. What about his other homie? The Denver Crew. The guy who's actually controlling Denver is Dizzy P. Greasy is just slowly but surely getting better as a starting quarterback. He was a high pick. He's nice. George Mira sucks. Steve Owens, this is a new running back on the scene. He was just a guy in 1970. He's a full-on stud here in 1971. Wendell Hayes, good ball control. Dan Reeves is back. Welcome this guy right here. He just got back off the battlefield, and he's back in the NFL. He was played for Pittsburgh, went to Vietnam, got shot up, came back, just really getting his feet wet. Got a lot. This Denver team has a lot of tight ends. Not very many receivers. Another running back, Milt Morin, Pete Lamons. So his three top targets are all tight ends. We got Dan Deerdorf. Welcome to the league. Shakey's Pizza start for him, but he's going to become one of the greats. John Kolb, Mr. Physicality. Rocky Freitas, solid tight end or solid tackles. Tom Dempsey. I don't know. See what's up with these special teams guys. All kind of went to crap. Just making notes. I figured I was going to do this anyway, and might as well stream it and just try to figure out who's got the good teams this year. I haven't really got a good sense up to this point. Bill Bergey's still a big-time linebacker. He's going to be big-time for a while. Willie Williams, this was an early pick. He's a pretty elite corner at this stage of the game. 63 INT. And Len Barney. Okay, wow. Yeah, so we're pretty stacked at corner here. Real stacked. Veteran free safety could do stuff. Leroy Keys is just a guy. Okay, so obviously last year I really wanted Dizzy to make some noise with, shed the derp label once and for all. He had a great team last year. It didn't quite work out. So for that reason, we're going to put Dizzy back down to just participant status. We need to see it. This team does look pretty good. He looks like he drafted a pretty good team that has potential. The two corners is very intriguing, but he needs to make something happen here. I feel like he had a better team last year, and it didn't quite work out. Although they did come on towards the end of the year. They were looking pretty tough at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this is the year that the Denver Broncos break through. In Techco After Dark, it's been a pretty tough existence for what the franchise formerly known as the Derps. Let's see who else we got here. See if we can get through this without collapsing. All right, what about Dr. Frolf? Okay, he used to be Boston, but now with the return of Kavalkin, he and the departure of Green Magic, he's taken on his fellow, his homie's team with his blessing. He's taken over the Sinners. Once again, another franchise that has had lots of turmoil, although Green Magic had a pretty nice season for them last year. Let's see who they drafted this year. This is Dr. Frolf in charge. He's got Charlie Johnson, steady Eddie quarterback here. Kung Cannon used to be kind of a physical freak. He's kind of just a guy now. Larry Zonka, early pick. He is still very good, but he got ostracized by Norm Van Brocklin. Lost the reception ability, and that kind of does not bode well for the season. First pick got absolutely crushed in practice by Norm Van Brocklin, who is a wild card if there ever was one as head coach. That being said, he's still very good, and he's poised to do some dirt. He's got his homie Jim Kick with him. And Harmon Widge is still kind of a guy. Rocky Thompson, return specialist. Don Maynard still a major threat at wide receiver. Al Denson's back for another go. A lot of controversy with that selection. Some more kick return type guys here. Lindsey Cole, Don Herman, Chip Myers. He's got some pretty solid depth at wide receiver. No true tight end. Dennis Party. These kickers are all off. We got to fix these kickers, man. Don't know what happened. Some glitch happened. I guess Pete fixed something and it screwed everything up. I don't know. Oh yeah. I mean, nothing here. I mean, the fact that Norm Van Brocklin just had such a shaky camp. We're gonna once again go with participating here. I would be surprised if the Sinners made a run here. I just think that the vibes are a little bit off. Dr. Frolf, we'll see if he can emerge from his Burning Mort haze to captain the Sinners to some sort of success. It's been a rough go for the Sinners, but I do feel that anything could happen with this team. They have enough. Nothing, no glaring weaknesses. All right. Let's see who else was kind of. All right, let's go with Proto J. Newcomer Proto J in the mix. All right, so welcome to the TAD draft. He went through the whole TAD draft kind of flying by the seat of his pants. Never really seemed like he really had a full grasp of what the heck was going on. This is how it usually goes for newcomers to TAD. But at the end of the day, he put together a team that really makes sense. Let's take a look. He went Daryle Lamonica early. You never can grab a quarterback too early. Lamonica's still pretty top tier. Backup Scott Hunter leaves something to be desired, but he's just the backup. He won't be needed that much. Running backs are, he's got the former Heisman Trophy winner and Les Josephson coming off a monster season for Atlanta. He's got some dudes there. That guy's not great. That guy's not great, but whatever. Gene Washington is elite. This is if you're going to get LaMonica, you want to get yourself a good receiver. You got a great one. Really good value there. Bob Grimm is not bad at all. He's number 2. He was the number 1 guy from Minnesota in 1971. They had a terrible offense, but he was their guy. Marv Fleming. Could do a lot worse than him at tight end. Mandich, a versatile player off the bench. Let's take a look at this O-line here. Looks like he got a pretty decent O-line. Harold Mann, Herman Weaver. Got Shirk. Pretty solid presence on the D-line. Neal's had some moments over the years. Dwight White is a guy who's on the rise here. Andy Russell had a huge season in 1970. Could be a major factor. These are solid players here. I mean, that guy's not great, but whatever. And then the safeties, Ray Brown and Pettibon. I mean, this is pretty good. So listen, there's always a chance that somebody's going to go 1-13 or whatever their first season in TAD. Proto J, I don't really have I have played him a decent amount. He's pretty tough. We'll see what happens. I'm going to say I really like this team, honestly. I feel like he drafted a great team. That being said, uphill climb first season. So for Baltimore, I'm just going to say playoffs. Playoffs? It could happen. I think there's a really good chance that the Baltimore Colts, with first-year TAD man Proto J in charge, could make the playoffs. It's an interesting team. Something about it just feels like it fits. Feels like he did a good job. All right. Who else? Let's see here. Let's take a look at the Chiefs. Chiefs kind of struggled a little bit in 1970, but they did make a run. They were very interesting at times. They knocked off a couple big-time teams. They got all the way to the to the next state final. Almost took down the Jets there. Let's see what Game High brings to the party here in 1971. Sonny Jurgensen's back. He was unseated as starter of the Redskins in real life. But he just didn't play. He was hurt. No reason to suspect that he sucked. He still has pretty good attributes. And Ed Hargett, I've been told that the Chiefs are going to give Hargett a look as the second quarterback. MacArthur Lane had a really good season in 70. He's not quite as good this year, but he's still a factor. Frenchie Fuqua, pretty solid tandem there. Larry Watkins, Joe Profit. Don't think that's going to be a huge profit for the Chiefs if he's playing. We got Billy Parks. This is a new face. A couple dudes. Not going with the multiple tight end set here. Pat Studstill, the veteran, is going to be punting as well. Charlie Sanders is back at tight end. He was the main target for the Chiefs last year. We got Redney. You love to see him in there. This offensive line is real shaky. And then, yeah, another... I'm not sure all the special teams guys just kind of got rocked. I think that Pete changed his setting and screwed up everything there. So, gonna have to redo all that stuff. Sucks. All right, let's take a look at this D. Radar Reed. This guy, he's a factor. So we got some things to worry about. And then look at this. He hit the rushing power on the in the camp. So Ted Hendricks, who was already poised to be a breakout star in 1971, I think could be the best defensive player on the board, with the possible exception to Ken Houston. Carl Gersbach is a new factor, linebacker. Dick LeBeau has been a mainstay in TAD over the years. Charlie Ford, not bad. WK is still pretty good. This team's pretty good. This team's way better than he had last year on paper. Although he has less offense, but good lord, he has a Mike Curtis-esque defender with just pretty freaking good DBs and D-line around him. All right, so after a tough season in 1970, I think this team is good. This defense is awesome. This is our first one. I think it's going to be a big turnaround for Game High. I think this team's going to be great. And I'm officially got the Chiefs as a contender here for the whole thing. Even though Game High had a tough season last year, I think he had some good moments and some tough losses. The offense is stinky. The defense is great. And Ted Hendricks is officially a problem. Contender. We need to all watch out for the Chiefs in 1971. Next up, see who else was shaky in 1970. Let's take a look at... I'm trying to kind of remember how the records were. I guess we'll do Bengals next. We got Flo in the chat. Now here we go with the freaking Flo and the Bengals. Flo, one of my favorite Tecmo players. Just, he has one upset win against Buffalo in the playoffs. But that was buttressed by two pretty weak sauce seasons. However, he tends to always have a good point differential. So it's like there's some luck. There's a luck factor that's leading to the Bengals not making noise. They still got this dumb helmet. Let's see what kind of team he put together here for Cincinnati 1971. It's got Jim Hart. He's had some moments over the years. And Earl Morrall, who's also had some moments, good and bad. So maybe a quarterback controversy brewing there, but Hart gets the edge. Alty Taylor, no ball control whatsoever, but major running skills. Let's see what he can do. Paul Robinson's nice. We got this guy. Don't know how to say his name, but he's a white guy with a mustache. Leroy Sledge. I like this guy's name a lot. Gary Garrison is still elite as a receiver. Could be one of the best receivers in TAD in 1971 if Hart and Morrall could get the job done. We got Frank Pitts. We got the Leviathan is back in Cincinnati. Possibly returning kicks. Seymour's pretty solid. Cotton kind of sucks. That guy's all right. So we got some dudes there. The Dentist is in the mix. His O-line looks pretty bad, although that guy's pretty good. Harry shit. Dick Butkus is the kicker. He will have stats. Once again, all the kicking stats got screwed for position guys. So I'm just writing all these down. So I've got a little extra work. That's fine. We're in good shape. Season doesn't start till 8:30 tonight, Pacific. We got pluggers for days on the D line. Larry Cole, factor. Ed Obradovich, real life plugger. Just an impact player. We got Jim Lynch. Good lord. This front seven is ferocious. Dick Butkus was an early pick in 19. Bobby Joe Green. What's his? BJ Green. Okay. I like Bobby Joe. We can do whatever you want, though. Bill Thompson. Pretty solid. Oh, my God. All right. This has to be the year that Flo breaks through. I think he's going to break through in a big way. He's going to break through in a big way. You know what? This team's awesome. This defense is filthy. DT take. Contender. There is some things to be concerned about here. Running backs with no ball control. Sometimes you say when you got two quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks, right? But we'll see how it plays out. This offense is, Gary Garrison's nice. They got enough. Contender, watch out for the Bengals in 1971, says DT. All right. Him and look out for Cincy and the Chiefs to make a big turnaround. All right, what else? Let's take a look at the Cowboys next. Once again, it didn't really feel like White Tick had a tremendous understanding of what the hell was going on in Tad as he was assembling his team, but he usually figures out a way to put together some kind of team that kind of plays to his strengths. He always gets the good free safety, the good wide receiver. Let's see what he's got. He's got a pretty good quarterback. Bill Nelson, 56 is good for Tad. He's got the snake. He had to pick the snake early due to a situation that developed. Nobody's going to be upset having the snake and fail. Nelson's got shaky constitution, though, so that could be good to have a good backup. In real life, Stabler has not emerged as a starter yet. He's just kind of lurking on the bench. Dwayne Thomas, good running back. Cannonball Butler, still okay. Got some okay. Ford's okay. Warfield, this was crazy. This guy slipped. He slipped to like the 8th or 9th pick after an MVP season for the Jets. MVP caliber season. He's awesome. Major factor. Got some other guys that could catch a little bit. Did not draft a tight end, a true tight end. He's got a bunch of receivers. And it looks like, once again, he kind of skimped on the O-line, although Vogel and Evans are nice. Kicker Fred Cox. He's got Bob Lilly. Could be a major factor. Ron McDowell. Ron McDowell, this is the apex of Ron McDowell. Look at his weird-ass attributes. Larry Hand. Skip Vanderbrunt. Jimmy Cata. Wasowski. Do you have anything left here? Johnny Robinson. He slipped also. Yeah, I don't know. This team's pretty good. I'm going to say, once again, I don't think this is a contender. Tick has to prove it to get to that status. Intriguing. I expect this team to have more wins than losses. That's basically what I'm saying here. Should be in the playoffs comfortably. But I don't know. I don't really see them as a Tad Bowl contender. But I like them. All right. What else? Let's do the Chargers next. We got 71, baby. Look at that 71. That's JJT does the helmet work on that. He did a lot more for this season, too. Watch out for that. Jimmy Plunkett, quarterback. Welcome to the league. Solid. Steve Ramsey could be needed. Vader went pretty early on running back here, but you got a good one. Floyd Little. He might have noticed that Little was a cut above the rest. He's had some good seasons in Tad. Really good year for the Chiefs last year. Vic Washington is a factor. Don Shy just continues to be a factor. Pretty good depth here at running back. Welcome to the league, Mel Gray. No relation to the Mel Gray from the OG Tecmo. It's very fast. Dave Smith. Big guy with big hands. Bob Wallace. Dave Davis. Tom Mitchell. Good tight end. That guy's a guy. And the O-line, led by Walt Sweeney, is pretty good. Let's take a look at this D. The veteran Charlie Kruger still doing stuff. Claude Humphrey still an impact force. George Andrews still quite good. Rosavich in the middle. Guidry's a solid linebacker. Blunt is coming on. He's not quite epic yet. Pat Fisher is still one of the better cornerbacks in Tecmo After Dark. He's got the big stick bros here at cornerback. Rick Volk, still a big time free safety. Brian Salt, I mean, listen, we say this every year with Vader, but expect something good to happen for him at some point. And I expect him to have more wins than losses with this team. They're intriguing. The running back, Floyd Little, I think was a kind of a stretch pick, but a crucial pick for Vader. He's pretty good with running backs. So I think he's got to have a good running back. And his defense is a little bit better than he usually has. So we'll see if the quarterback can deliver and deliver him a good season. I think he's due some luck in Tecmo After Dark. See who else had a losing record last year that we could talk about here. Let's go to the Cleveland Browns. Let's do it. This is one of the most fun teams this year. No idea what to make of this. This draft was out of control. Went Landry number 1. Landry has ascended to a number 1 first round pick type guy. This is his best season, I believe, in real life. 31 max speed, 50 pass control. Bart Starr. One more ride. See if Cam can take him to the promised land. What you talking about, Willis? Banana sack. Sid the Kid. Oh, hurts a little, don't it? Receivers. It's got a bunch of them. Charlie Taylor. Randy Vataha, rookie with intrigue. Fair Hooker. Bob Trumpy at tight end. Even Ted Quaylick can catch. This team has so much reception. Ken Mendenhall. Wacky. Big Gene. Charlie Gogolak. Billy Lothridge. Does he have anything left for the defense? He went pretty hard on offense. Well, he's got Wally Hilgenberg is nice. And Mike Curtis, who's still awesome. Matter of fact, that's your cover boy right there. For Taz 71. There he is. That's Mike Curtis right there. Psychopath. Joe Beauchamp is pretty good. Ad Hat. Oh, wait, we didn't look at Namov. Okay, he's still, yeah, this team is cool. All right, this team is, I just can't really say for certain that this is going to work, but it's definitely one of my favorite drafted teams in TAD ever. He just went so hard into receiver. He did have something left for defense, though. I think Mike Curtis can do a lot of things by himself. He might have more help than Game High had last year when he had a pretty good defense with the Chiefs. Curtis got to 56 for him, but I think there's enough going on here that I would expect the Browns to somehow win some games. This is a fun one. Kind of feel it, yeah. And then the secret sauce of this team is that Madden's the coach, and he beefed up the O-line in ways that other guys could not. So, yeah, he really leaned into the strat, and he's good. The thing is, Camp likes to run the ball. So I don't know if he's used to running this type of offense here. You know, it's kind of like a borderline Houston Oilers type offense. Old school passing attack, but he also has Landry who can run. So it's a really I've never seen an offense like this in any type of squad. So needless to say, Cleveland I think is maybe my number 1 most actual intriguing team for TAD 1971. All right, who else? Let's take a look at Pittsburgh. We got Sammy Smith in the house. He decided to get a newcomer to TAD, a rookie that everybody was excited about after a studly college career for Ole Miss. Archie Manning is here. And Archie Manning is kind of similar to Landry. He can run, can throw. He had a Shakey's Pizza year statistically, but he flashed. We'll see what he can do as the leader here. Don Horn as well. Going to pick him up if he struggles. Donnie Anderson's back. Or this is not Donnie Anderson. This is Bobby Anderson. Not Donnie Anderson. Bobby Anderson's the new guy here. He's got a little skill. Super Dave Osborne, still a factor. And George Knock is back. Okay, this is kind of just a glue guy for the Steelers. They had to bring him back. He was available. Let's just put it that way. He's not very good, but he was available. Earl McCullough, the go-to guy. Ron Jesse's a newcomer that is going to be an impact player over the years. Might go with Ray Perkins instead as a starter, who's a veteran. Ike Some Thrill Hill. Richie Kotite. That guy sucks. See, this O-line is pretty good if I remember. 44 guy, not great. Tyrer and Current, big-time tackles. Dale Livingston. See, why are these guys all effed up? What did Pete do? Don't worry, we'll get it all sorted. This is why we're doing this. He's got a plugger. Big old guy, Rod Billingston. To help out, Joe Green was a first-round pick at D-line. Well, that's the reason why. He's bigger and faster than everybody else on the D-line. He also got another stud here. Deacon Jones, still very good. The Hunter, just a big-time front seven. Gus Otto has had some moments over the years. Marlon McKeever could still be a factor, the veteran linebacker. And here's another newcomer that's exciting, Phil Villapiano. Anybody who's a fan of NFL films knows this face and this voice. Pretty good player, too. Renfro, real solid at cornerback. Rousing. Yeah, he's got a real good defense. He kind of skimped on defense last year as far as draft picks and whatnot. The offense is not that good, but I'm still kind of expecting big things out of the Steelers this year. I feel like this defense is not just solid, but potentially devastating. And I think that's the way you make noise in TAD in 1970. It was a borderline contender team for me, but it's just I just see some real struggles happening with this offense from time to time. But maybe those little magic with Archie Manning. We'll see what happens. All right. Who's next? Let's do JJT and the New York Football Giants. Okay, he's bringing in another big-time name here, newcomer quarterback, Ken Anderson. Yeah, he didn't really play that much in 71, but he becomes a borderline. He really should be in the Hall of Fame. He's a stud. Really dominates throughout the 70s and early 80s. And he's coming in hot here. Another kind of quick guy who could pass also. Livingston, this guy never gets his due, but he's a good. He got some looks for Pittsburgh last year. He's solid. Solid for a backup if there ever was one. Willie Ellison, this guy just emerged in real life. He gets a look here as a starter for the Giants. Johnny Rowland's still out here. Not a lot of ball control here. Joe Morrison can catch. JJT with the no ball control all-stars at running backs. Carroll Dale's going to get some looks. Jesus Dick Hill at wide receiver. Big Bob Adams. That guy sucks. McGeorge was also... He was on the Bills last year. He's okay. This O-line could definitely looking real good here. This O-line was awesome. This O-line is... That's pretty big time for Tad. Look at all the guys here. Let's take a look at this defense. Henry Reed. Oof. Jack Gregory. Factor. Hamburger. This guy was a subject of much intrigue over the course of the draft. Bob Steiny. Dave Robinson. This guy's epic. Watch out for him. Mean Gene Howard. Jim Marsalis. Bill Bradley. Elite free safety Yannick. I mean, listen. The ball control situation. I'm going to say this is a team that definitely wouldn't surprise. JJT would not surprise me if he took this team to some sort of good record, but I think they're going to be fighting to make the playoffs. I think the ball control situation combined with he usually has a slightly better quarterback. He's got two good ones. So I'm just going to say it's a maybe playoff team. But JJT typically finds a way. He found a way last year. We'll see what he can do this year. Let's go to the other New York squad. We got the New York Football Jets. So he brought back the Dan after a fun season last year that just ended on the doorstep of the playoffs, with Paul Warfield making it rain all over the place. And the defense kind of hanging in there despite being a little talent deficient. Fun season at Shea Stadium. He brings back Billy Kilmer. And he's got the worst quarterback in the game, Jerry Rome. That's his backup. Hopefully Billy Kilmer can hang tough. He also brought back Jim Nance, who's a little bit tougher this year. Up to 81 hitting power. Watch out for him. Don Nottingham, the human bowling ball. Also a physical presence. This running back room is a little shaky. Bob Hayes has been working real hard to maintain speed despite being a veteran. He's back up to 69 max speed. His receptions are down. Concern. But major factor right there. He's once again going pretty heavy with tight ends. He's got Big Will Frazier. Chesson could be a factor. He's not great. John Mackey. Kind of at the tail end of his career. Another running back in the mix. And he'll be thrilled that we got Pink Floyd going here during his team. Offensive line is up and down. Defense a little bit better than it was last year, though. Manny Fernandez is continuing his ascent to the elite. Some guys that are good. Chuck Howley. This was his first-round pick. I really wanted him for the Bills. He swiped him. I was a little surprised, but look at him. 50 interceptions is big time. He dominated with Russell at that position last year. Ray Nitschke's still a factor at an advanced age. Dave Washington's okay. Got a couple dudes at cornerback. Elmendorf, Tannen. So it's still a Shakey's Pizza DB room, but it's better than it was last year. Defense is better. Offense is not nearly as good. He had Kelly and he had Warfield who could catch and was also fast, but Hayes is really fast this year. Warfield went down to 56 at the end of the season. So, I don't know. I'm not really like... I do question the strat to rely on Hayes with the offense. So, I'm not like going to give the Jets my full endorsement here as a winning team. But they're going to be fun also. This is like pretty close to the Browns as far as what's going to happen with this team. I have no idea. No idea. The defense is possibly pretty good. So I'm going to say I'm not expecting them to make the playoffs, but I expect them to be right there in the end, just like they were last year. In the mix. In the discussion. To the end. All right. Who else? We go back to the beginning of this playlist, first of all. All right, let's do the Bears next. How about the Bears? Let's see what's going on with Chicago. Bomb Jack. He's got Terry Bradshaw. Improving. He's better than he was last year for the woeful Redskins. A little bit of speed. The city's quarterbacks can run a little bit. Kent Nix, this guy was a bit of a folk hero for Pittsburgh when Sammy had him. Mercury Morris got drafted pretty early. 56 MS is hard to come by for running back. Essex Johnson could have some moments. Dressler had some moments for the Browns last year. Leon Burns, intriguing rookie. Jack Snow, still pretty good. Dave Williams, still pretty good. Cecil, the burner, Turner, provides kick returner juice to the Bears. That guy's also just some broskies at tight end here. We love to have those types of guys, though. Looking like he's got a pretty elite O-line here. Yeah, this offensive line is top tier. Bill Bell at kicker. Chuck Latterette before he got stabbed in the eye. Chuck Carlton sowing his wild oats. We got some broskies here. Isaiah Robinson, rookie. Rookie linebacker. Could be a major factor. Babbage. Al Beauchamp. Or is it Buku? It's pretty good. The Rattler. It's a nice balanced squad here. Bob Howard. Cliff Harris. Charlie Greer. Wow. Pretty good squad. I definitely expect this team to be pretty, Bomb Jack is kind of up and down. But he's always dialed in when it comes to Tad. I would say this is one of his more textbook teams. I think he'll ride it to success. No major debacles in the draft. No Herbie invasions to screw everything up. It just kind of looks like he built a team that he wants for his style of play. It should take advantage of his strengths. And it just kind of looks a little bit better on paper than some of his other teams he's had in the past. So I'm going to expect a winning season out of the Bears. Terry Bradshaw is a concern. Kent Nix is a concern. That's about the only thing. But there's a lot of talent here. See if he could make it happen. I don't know. I don't see why not. All right, let's see here. Let's take a look at another guy here that's back. Welcome back. We brought Kavalka back. He's going to be playing the opener tonight versus Buffalo. Let's take a look at this team. Somebody pay special attention to this. Roman Gabriel, still a big-time quarterback. Dick Shiner, still a pretty decent option as a backup. Calvin Hill is ascended to top-tier status as a running back. He'll be getting mad totes from Pats. Cyril Pinder's still a guy you love to have on your team. Pretty good running back. The garbage man can still play. He's just a major veteran at this point, but he still does a little bit of everything. Harry Williams. George Farmer is the go-to guy for the Patriots. He's not bad. Drew Bowie's got speed. Big Willie Richardson. Frank Lewis, this guy. Wait for that guy to be a major factor. Bob Tucker, solid tight end. Ed Flanagan. Jim Cadile. I don't know what his Cadile is. Offensive line is below average. Seen worse though. Earl Edwards, impact player. Big Ron Berger. The Burger. Learn about it. Tombstone, not quite as good as he has been, but still very good. Yes, Mel Tom solid. Mike Colin, this guy crunches you. And then this guy. This was a big time pickup here. Yeah, I wanted this guy too. He's a beast. That is a beastly linebacker that could cover. Rudy Redmond has upped his game a little bit after having a solid season for the Jets. Charlie West is good. My goodness. I got my hands full tonight. Okay. Well, it's going to be some growing pains, probably. You know, I could have made life easier on him, but I still think that Kavalka's a big-time player. And he managed to put together a pretty damn good team, despite drafting where he drafted. Gosh, how far can this team go? The only thing they don't have is like an elite passing game, but the defense. I like these teams with these good defenses, man. Kraus, Lucci. It's gonna be. I think this is an intriguing team. Let's go. I think I'll be shocked if he does not guide this team to the playoffs. Borderline contender. First year back, going to be some growing pains. Not going to make it all the way, but he might make it into the playoffs, might win a couple games. I would not be shocked. All right. Also might beat me tonight at my place. All right. Who else? Who have we not looked at yet? Let's do the St. Louis Cardinals. Aeneas made it all the way to the Tad Bowl final last year. Had some guys like Harold Jackson. It was revealed during the draft, after I took him in the second round, that he got Harold Jackson in the fourth round last year. He was a beast. Once again, he's going with the quarterback with major arm talent. One of the most talented throwers of the football in Tad is Joe Namath. Will he hold up, though? His constitution is whack. This was the year that he went down, and he went down early. Sabotaged the Jets' season. They had some talent, but they didn't make it. Larry Smith is definitely going to be a major factor here. Walt Garrett, I mean, this is pretty good. Pretty good. I like that combination. Warren McVay's had some moments over the years. Woodensheck, good depth here. Lance Allworth's still pretty good. He's really in the twilight of his career now, but doesn't have that burning speed. But he's got good ability. Elite ball control. Watch out for that. Charlie Joyner keeps steadily rising. This guy's a good kick returner. He can also play a little bit. Gary Ballman still in the mix. Still can play. He's going to be featured at tight end here, it looks like. Gene Upshaw. This is one of your top linemen in Tad. And the offensive line is pretty decent overall, you would have to say. Jan Stenrud, one of the better kickers in Tad. Bill Brundage. Is that how you spell that guy's name? Mike Tillerman, Pat Toomey, Dennis Wardowski. Kind of like the vibe of this defense, if not the talent. Tommy Novus is going to eat. Ed Shirakma still a top-tier corner. Larry Carwell could pick it off a little bit. Okay, here's the thing. We're going to find out about Aeneas here this year. He just didn't have quite as much access as he had to talent in the draft this year. After a tad bowl run, he's picking a little bit late in the draft. But he's definitely drafted to his strengths. So, I think he's gonna have a little tougher time this year. But he did dominate last year. Borderline playoffs team, but I'm gonna say once again intriguing. It's pretty good. I don't really see. It's not as overall talented, but he's got all the guys in the right spots to play his game. It could definitely implode. If Namath has a rough year, gets hurt, things could really go south here. But if he stays healthy, Cardinals could be good again. All right. I'm expecting them to be good. Let's go to San Fran next. San Fran has been moved to the Central Division, so they got a totally different schedule. Just played that. Bob Lee was looking pretty good. Bob Lee's he was a guy that was kind of undersized, kind of just overlooked, produced everywhere he went. Minnesota, Atlanta. This guy was solid. He was looking pretty dope in that game. Terry Hanratty. Leroy Kelly's still pretty top tier as far as running backs go. Could be poised to have another big year. Got a pretty good backup here, / RB2. Carl Garrett. Mike Montgomery, pretty good for a white guy. Willie Belton. Hopefully he doesn't play much, but he's all right. Dick Gordon, pretty good receiver. Jack Gierke. Welcome to the league. Could get some looks here for San Francisco. Gloucester Richardson. So no true tight end on this team, but some decent targets. His O-line. Larry Little has emerged as a top guard. Dick Shafrath still holding it down at left tackle. Pretty good O-line. Bob Lee punter. Got to fix that. Not sure what happened to all these guys, but we'll fix it. We got Merlin Olsen still one of the most dominant forces. Will Stanfield's back. Pretty good guy right there. Linebackers that can play a little bit. Bobby Bryant is emerging as a top corner. The Maya's got some speed. Chris Fletcher. And Carl Kasulke. Pretty good team overall. Once again, it looks like Grip went pretty balanced here. Offense, defense, running game, passing game. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess with Grip, you always got to say, you expect him to have more wins and losses. I could almost say contender here, but even though we just played, he beat me pretty convincingly. Still just nothing really jumps out here. It's like, oh, wow, look at that. Just going to have to play solid and mix it up. Running game, passing game, and just hope it works out. I mean, there's no reason it wouldn't. It's just other teams I think have a little bit more juice. Something you could point to as an identity. That team's just solid overall. Merlin Olsen is interesting. All right, let's see what else. Who have we not done here? Let's do Johnny Evans. We haven't done the Perps. John Brody's been brought back. So the Perps had once again, they tend to have weird drafts, but let's see how it all shook down. James Harris, big guy, big tough quarterback. He's the backup. Marv Hubbard is a guy. Now here's a guy that's just got a lot better. He was pretty good last year for the Cardinals. He is a force this year. Minnesota's going to be giving him the rock, but they also got these. Oh, Jim Otis is still black. He reverted to black. The blackening. Okay, I guess that didn't get fixed from last year. All right, we got a lot to do before we do the season tonight. That's all right. We got 8 hours. Hoyle Granger. Dicky Post. These are some vibing running backs here. Fred Biletnikoff is back. And he's going to be getting lots of targets. Here's a new guy. Chris Farasopoulos. The Greek freak. He is a kick return specialist. Jerry Smith is back. Where do I put him there? I gotta look at. We're gonna fix that. So he's got a couple pretty good tight ends. It's not overall. Yeah, once again, the offensive line is stinky. Ooh, what happened to this guy? Man, this team got rocked. Everything was looking pretty good. I wonder what happened here. Something got jacked up. Don Krokroff's going to be kicker and punter. Paul Smith, major factor in the D-line, along with Gary Larson. These guys are big time. Joe Turkey Jones. John Zook is a problem. Ed Anders. Don Connors. Dan Connors. Steve Zabel. Not to be accused of Steve Rabel. Tom Hayes. Robert James. Got some pretty makeshift dudes on the defense, but it's not bad overall. It's not bad overall. I'm going to say there's some things that are missing from this team. It's not as tough as last year's team, which I think got lucky, even though this is the guy that knocked me out of the playoffs. That being said, I still think he's got to prove it with this team. This is a maybe playoff team. He's got to get some kind of mojo going that I'm not seeing here on paper. Maybe if Steve Smith gets created and put in at right tackle, that'll help. But this defense it's not as good as these other defenses. We'll see what happens, though. Gonna get a chance to come in to Seattle and play some guys live here for Tad Fest. That'll be fun. All right, Green Bay. Johnny Hadel in the mix at quarterback. Rick Arrington, the second worst quarterback in Tecmo After Dark. Emerson Boozer. He's gonna get some looks here. Sonny Davis got scooped up. Larry Schreiber's an interesting fellow. Mike Hull, Grip's favorite player. Benny Hawks, Jim Burney, Harold Carmichael, John Henderson. These are the guys that are going to have to catch passes. No true tight end on the roster. Not as good of an offense as he had last year when LaMonica was carving, but not bad overall. We got to fix that. What the hell happened to all these guys? I gotta let Pete know. We'll get it. All right, we gotta finish this up so we get on this. Alan Page is still he was the MVP of the season. Was it 70 or 71? Well, he's awesome. This is just ridiculous. Brought him back. Curly Culp, also an impact player. Bubba Smith, this D-line is crazy. So this was the focus. The offense slipped a little bit, but the D-line with Lyle Alzado now in the mix is absolutely ridiculous. Jim Files, that guy has his own YouTube channel where he put some 1971 Giants highlights up there. Very cool. And Herb Adderley's kind of rejuvenation machine. He's back to one of the better corners in the game. This team's pretty good. I don't know if James gonna have some challenges. This isn't like just a dominate for sure type team, but James has been playing really well lately, and this is one of those things where there's just some intrigue here beyond just a good team on paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a contender for Tad Bowl. There's some extra juice here with Page, Culp, Smith, Alzado, Herb Adderley, and an offense that isn't as good nearly as he had last year, but James tends to find a way to put points on the board. If you just give him a decent quarterback, some running backs that can play a little bit. He's got a pretty good receiver, Ben Hawkins. It's not nearly as good as he had last year, but He'll get some points for sure. That's a contender. Green Bay's a contender. Watch out for them. Let's do my stupid team. Buffalo Bills. All right, we got Len Dawson, baby. George Allen is my coach. He was able to acquire veterans from even though other people wanted him. Bill Munson, solid backup. We got Clarence Davis. This guy's a new guy on the mix. He's a pretty good running back. He's a pretty famous running back for the Raiders in the 70s. Bo Scott, so we got a little depth here. Art Malone. This guy's terrible. Harold I had to have him after he ripped it up for St. Louis last year. Had to have him. He's a major factor. One more run for Gary Collins as a pretty good receiver. The veteran. Reggie Rucker bringing the ruckus. Chip Glass will be relied on for some things at tight end. Offensive line is, let's be honest, it's pretty piss poor. But I've seen worse. Defense, I got some stud veterans on this defense, but I also got some humps that are starting. Ben Davison's back, still a beast. Larry Grantham, this guy's a major vet, but he's pretty good. Garland Boyette, solid vet. Pardee, big time veteran. This guy was a guy I had to have. Sadly, Pete drafted him in the 3rd round. Not really quite, even though he just got hit from George Allen. Got hit again here. Billy Brown, this is my first pick. I think he'll have a nice season. This guy's terrible. So is that guy. Glenn Edwards becomes a good player later. And then Cordell Green, this is another guy I had to have. Just a stud, strong safety. Veteran presence. So I got some pretty good players. A little top-heavy team. I mean, what is there to say? I'm coming for the crown, baby. Listen, I'm not going to say this team doesn't have what it takes to win the whole damn thing. Should be a fun season. I don't really know what to make of this team. It's usually I go for teams that are a little bit more solid on the, have a pretty good player at every position that matters. This team's a little more top-heavy, but that was the George Allen over-the-hill gang way. I think I got good vibes. I think I'm going to make something happen with these guys. I went for a play this time. I actually drafted a play early this year instead of just have the pro form debacle. All right, a couple more teams left. We haven't done the Rams yet. Let's do that. Bob Berry, not to be confused with Bob Lee. Pretty good. Bob Davis, not to be confused with a good quarterback. O.J. Simpson, still not quite epic. He's been in the league 3 years now. He's pretty good. What he brings to the table this year is elite kick returning. This is your best kick returner on the game. O.J. Simpson. Charlie Haraway. Travis Williams was also good. That's why this is the best unit. Kenny Burrow is going to be relied on for some things. Alvin Reed, epic tight end. Jim Mitchell, another big-time tight end. Big-time tight ends. The offensive line, you notice these guys are all slow. What? It's because Tom Neville took all the RS from them to provide an elite kick return. That could be a major factor. I think it's such a factor. Al Cowlings is pretty good. Chuck Walker still kind of a factor. Fred Carr, okay. Leroy Jordan's going to have a monster. He's got Plugger in front of him, too. George Webster kind of fell off, but he's still a guy. Emmett Thomas, big-time cornerback. Nelson, listen. You never know with Nelson, right? But I think everybody kind of recognizes he's the top player. I think that the kick return thing makes this team, it's just that extra juice that I have to put them in the contender. I feel like they could go on a run. Just that kick returner factor. But OJ's going to put the ball on the deck. This team could fall flat on their face. He's got weak sauce ball control. Receivers are Shakey's Pizza, although they're okay. This is a weird team. I can see this team not doing well. But that kick returner juice is different. The defense is good. I like the Rams this year. All right, let's do it. Now recent TAD champs is all that's left here. Miami. Let's see what Tully was able to put together here. Randy Johnson. George Blandy. He's got a third quarterback who's not bad either. This was the first round pick of rookie John Brockington, a beast. This gonna get a chance to shine too. He's got a good fullback. He's got some dudes. Al Dodd. That's pretty weak sauce for your top receiver, but he's okay. They're a little shaky. A little shaky at receiver. The adult conversation providing kick returns. Kent Kramer is actually not going to play the first week. They're bringing in soul singer Marvin Gaye to play the first week. So they're going to go tight endless. But Marvin Gaye's tough. He could maybe play tight end. Ron Yeri. And good special teams. Bob Hines catch up. Big Walter Johnson, look out. Jack Youngblood, welcome to the league. It's kind of just a guy at this point, but above average. Coy Bacon, major force. Rube Bacher. Nick, Big Dick Nick, still a major factor. Dave Wilcox, so we got some big time linebackers. That means the secondary is probably not that great, but actually Willie Wood, actually pretty good. I mean, it's Thule. I don't think this is one of his better teams on paper. He gets the contender status though. Thule is a problem. I like just overall the vibe of this team. I like the vibe more than the players. Putting them in a contender. 2 teams left. All right, so the Eagles kind of got decimated without having Len Dawson. But let's see what they were able to put together. Virgil Carter. Dan Pastorini. Okay. Jeff Queen. Running back that can catch a little bit. Larry Brown. How did Jeff Queen get above Larry Brown here? I wonder if that was on purpose. Anyway, Larry Brown's very good. Got him pretty cheap, too. Lance Redsell, I'm going to be counting on. Rich Castor, solid. Jerry Simmons. Good kick returner, Alvin Haywood. That's why he's on the roster. Elmo Wright invented the touchdown dance, fun fact. Or widely in the mix. I feel like it makes this a tougher team on paper. Last year's team was actually probably the worst team he's ever had in TAD. Had a bunch of losses regular season at HP, but made it happen in the playoffs. The defense was incredible in the TAD Bowl. Guys like Carl Eller making huge impact. I mean, listen, I always kind of was here for that strat, which was go hard on defense because you can always move the ball on offense. But somehow I think this team is even more dangerous than those teams. I think this might be his best team ever. And we've kind of keep trying to nerf it to make it so it's not as easy for these guys to assemble good teams. But I just see this working out. Give him a good quarterback, some decent receiving options. Still got a pretty good running back. Still got a good defense. This is going to be tough. I think this is the team to beat. And that was IT7. It turns out I got a bunch of work to do. There's a bunch of stuff that didn't work out for some reason with the ROM creator stuff. So that's okay. We'll get it sorted. We got 8 hours till the first game starts tonight. 8:30 Pacific. Abouts. It's going to be New England, new team, New England Patriots. So Vulcan is back to their new look. They're playing out of Foxborough this year instead of Boston. New England Patriots at Buffalo Bills. Should be a good one to start the season. Hope to see everybody there tonight. Hope you enjoyed the preview. That's it for now. Good luck in 1971, everybody.